spending lots of time searching outside of yourself to find happiness, joy, health, and wealth? With each new acquired good or goal reached, are you once again jumping on the gerbil wheel, searching for that next thing to make you happy? The answers we are searching for are actually inside of us, and the connection we are looking for is one with self. Explore these and other self-reflective questions here on Finding the Spark Within. Hosted by Christin Collins, discover how you can connect with your purpose and achieve true happiness, meaning, and well-being. Don't miss tuning in and find the spark within.
Hey, Christin Collins, Find the Spark Within podcast, special edition. And this will be the first special edition that's been put together. But recently I had the opportunity to participate in a conference about financial abundance hosted by a transformational leader, friend, mentor, and guide, Debbie Helena. And Debbie invited me to be a part of her series, helping people to get in touch with financial abundance. I was very blessed to have a conversation with Debbie to talk about what is abundance and its tie to financial material stuff, and why is that stuff important? And how are we attracting abundance? Is it from the head or is it from the heart? And what are we trying to satiate? So it was an incredible journey for me to be hosted by Debbie and just to have this dialogue unfold. And I asked permission to put it out as a special edition of the Find the Spark Within podcast. So I know you will enjoy this conversation with Debbie Helena, and I hope that it helps you find that spark within you so that you can achieve and receive the abundance that you are birthed to enjoy, but that it's coming from the heart and not the head. Enjoy.
Welcome, Christin. I'm welcoming you with my open heart, open arms. This is going to be a fantastic conversation, and we don't know where this is going to go, you guys. This is unplanned as far as content, but we never have a conversation that is not heartfelt, full of value, and just uplifting and life-giving. So without any further ado, let's just jump right in to my beautiful, brilliant mentor, friend, Christin Collins. Christin is an interconnected well-being advocate. And Christin, I'm going to let you explain to our listeners, what does that mean to you? What does that title represent?
Talk about authentic, right? Debbie, thank you for having me. I'm watching, you blossom into the beautiful lotus flower that I've always known and seen. And I am forever grateful for our shared journey that's been going on quite some time in all different lanes. And this one is no different. When I left healthcare and had decided I was going to step out as an entrepreneur to try to spread a message of well-being that was more authentic to me, not reparative, right? Instead, holistic. The words, when I was titling my role in my new entrepreneurial company, came up as interconnected well-being advocate. I can't stop laughing when I hear it because who titles them that? Founder, CEO, like normal words. Instead, it made so much sense to me because how I feel about life and well-being is that it is an interconnected experience, starting with self. It doesn't make any sense to interconnect with others, not coming from a place of wholeness. So we interconnect with self, therefore we can interconnect with others. And how do we get there? It's from a space of well-being. And I advocate for that. So that is my crazy title.
I love it. And it's so not crazy how aligned we are in the words we chose for our titles. It's no accidents. So as you know, we are here in this series and we are sharing about women and wealth. And wealth does not have to just be about money. There's wealth, there's abundance, right? there's an abundance of beauty all around us. There's an abundance of health, abundance of wealth, but that wealth can relate to any area of your life, your health, your financial, your love, your healing. It can be anything, and even it's just in nature. And I would love to go there with you, because, well, we've had many conversations, but your book, your beautiful book, Her Phoenix Rising, I would like to just read something to you from the beginning that struck me. And it's part of why so many people are so drawn to you, because you are so authentic and you share really vulnerably. And you specifically say, look, there's no shame. I'm opening up and letting you see inside where I've been, what I've been through, and how I've gotten on the other side of that. It's really, really powerful. So I would just like to let everybody have a sneak peek. So those of you that don't have her book get to get that, but you also get a sneak peek right now. So you say that you had it all. Right in the middle of your life, you found yourself going through a modern day midlife crisis, 50 years in hot pursuit of happiness, wealth, tropical vacations, fancy things, a loving marriage, and all the glitter and gold that we pursue during our time on this planet. And you go on, have you ever been on vacation, but instead of being present and enjoying it, you were planning your next trip? Or 3 weeks after bringing home that upgraded car, you were thinking it was the best thing ever. You're starting to already fantasize about your next one. And that was literally you. The minute you obtained that new purse or you drank that very delicious and expensive bottle of wine, you were thinking, what's next? You were always hungrier. You were never satisfied. And you began to ask yourself some questions. Once you were aware of that, once you had that awareness, you said, what's the purpose of all of this? Why are we here? Is this all there is? And then you took a pause and you led into learning to know, love, and forgive yourself and those that hurt you, releasing others from being judged, sitting in the present moment, and letting go of what you can't control. That is one of the hardest things anybody ever gets through. And you found your interconnectivity, your voice, and your wisdom. And there's that word again, connectivity. So you shared your stories. You shared your stories in your book, beautiful healing stories. And you said you share them without shame, sadness, or ego. And that's 100% true. It's in every page and every word. And I would love it if you would just open up wherever you're guided to share us about that journey, because I know there are women listening to this that are not struggling financially and they're not happy. So I would love for you to serve us with your wisdom and your experience.
What I'm immediately just wanting to express is gratitude. I've never been in conversation with someone who read my book back to me. So that was just a very interesting, dynamic, divine experience. It's very different hearing it back than it is expressing. So thank you for that. And, that summary does summarize the journey thus far for many of us. I appreciate your offering to support people to manifest, abundance, with the theme of course, being, financial, right? People want more money. They want to know what to do with their money. I'm not proud. It's not braggadocious. I don't like walking around, and I don't walk around saying I had it all, poor me. And then what's the point of all this? That's just gross. But I know that I did have those experiences for this reason. It's to talk about how do we have things, I'm still standing here right now in Gucci loafers, like love the Gooch. But I don't need my loafers to try to bring me joy. I still drink wine often. I don't have to guzzle the wine to try to satiate something that's insatiable. So I think that's really important, Debbie, and a gift that you're giving people who are drawn to this content is about what is abundance. And I thank the universe for taking me from a child who was totally middle class, if not lower middle class, whose dad was always struggling and working for those with more. And I walked around saying, oh, this will be me someday. I will be a member of this club. I will be eating it. Oh, and guess what? I was a member of all those clubs, and I ate at all those restaurants, and I went on all those trips, and they were super great. And I was with great people. But as the book shared, there was still always this never present. And I was blessed, and I call it a blessing, to wake up to this, because I made myself sick, physically ill, from the autoimmune issues of chronic fight or flight, trying to control, trying to attain, trying to achieve. So that blessed my wake up call. And I applaud those who aren't, needing to have that outside experience like I did. So I think to get into the abundance piece, or what is wealth, right? What do I really need? The manifestation of abundance can still be things, but if it's only about the things, we're missing the boat. So my question back is, where are we manifesting the abundance from?
That's the thing. There's the missing piece in there. And it's going within, right? Everything starts from the inside. And looking at that, like, what void are you trying to fill? What are you trying to numb? What emotions do you not want to allow to come forth? And when we stuff those with whatever it is, shopping, wine, Netflix, donuts, whatever it is, right? We're stuffing it down. We're keeping it in there. And that is where dis-ease begins in our bodies. And it manifests in many different forms. But it's that avoidance and that unwillingness to look at that and to know and learn that you're safe to look at that, because we're not guided to that knowing. People don't tell us that. They don't talk about it. It's not talked about. It's just glossed over. It's glossed over.
That's I think the meat. That's the point.
Yeah.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether we're stuffing it or we're dissociating from it. I mean, my heart was I was told my heart wasn't even in my body. Like, you are not getting inside of this girl, right? And on the outside, and I had great relationships, but they were not full. I could never be satisfied. So we even do that. Here's the good news. It took me, this is the bad news. It took me 3 to 4 years of like major introspection to understand this. We don't have to go get a PhD. We don't have to put $1 million in the bank. We don't have to climb, a mountain. It's the awareness of this and the opening to it and sitting and being. So it's the getting in touch with heart, and manifesting the abundance from the heart is what's going to satiate so that we will attract beautiful things. Gorgeous experiences, amazing people still, but from a different space, not from our ego and our head, but from the interconnected authenticity of our heart.
Powerful words. And what came up for me when you shared that is that when you do go into your heart and you really do go there, you get out of your head, you get out of your ego, you've shifted your energy, you've shifted your vibration. You're more aligned with your higher and true self. And that's when this gateway portal opens and those people start coming into your life that you're meant to interact with, to connect with. That's when like minds find each other and healing begins, because you find somebody that can help you or support you in what you're doing. And this is what I see that happened for you. You went there and then the universe answered. And they brought you people. Can you tell us, I got chills, how did this happen? What was one of the first shifts, one of the first people that appeared for you? And before they appeared, what had happened? You had sat in a moment. Had you prayed? Had you cried? Had you sat there and you just said, you asked yourself those questions I read. What is this? What am I doing this for? What is this all about? What happened next that brought that person into your life? Because when you look back and people can see that door open, it's just a sliver. You let the light in, but then you stayed in alignment and you kept following the breadcrumbs.
So it's interesting. What a great, amazing question. These are questions I've never been asked. This is so fun. And I want to preface what came up for me with my purpose in this life is to inspire awakening. Okay. So I have spent a lot of time on this journey that my role is that others, I can be a light for others, that they don't have to go through what I've been through. So my answer is different from what I'm hoping will be your answer based on your opening up to this information. I'm hoping that I'm drawn to your life so that I can help you on your journey to, support your process. The people were there, right? I knew the why. It wasn't coming together. It wasn't happening. And that was because I was still super headstrong. I'll go back to bringing Deepak Chopra to Southwest Florida, which I know you were almost with us on. And that was a manifestation that was very headstrong. That was, these people need to hear this man. I'm going to help them. But it was all from up here. And I was present and I was in flow, but I wasn't, because my heart wasn't open. And that was like 2.5 years ago, I think. And this whole time, I have beautiful people that I've attracted that are helping me on my journey. But I truly got there, Debbie, 3 weeks ago, because those perfect people guided me to host a gathering that made me very uncomfortable. I couldn't see it. I couldn't feel it. I felt inauthentic. I finally let go that morning. And I felt like I was just guided to show up that day. And exactly who needed to be in that room was in that room. And now who's coming towards this energy, I can almost not keep up with it. I wake up every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, you, hey, let's have this conversation. I'm like, yes, please. Right. So the moral of that story is it's so simple. And even when you kind of know that it's out there, yet it doesn't make sense, your only job, your only role is in the letting go and asking yourself, am I doing this or am I being this? And think about a person. I had this conversation yesterday. Think about a person who is authentically in flow from the heart, attracting abundance. And that could be wealth. It often is wealth, because that just gives them more resource to spread love, right? So this person brought up Michael Jordan, right? And Michael Jordan is just poetry on a basketball court. That man is meant to play basketball. He is in flow. Nobody works harder than him, right? Tom Brady, same thing, right? Nobody works harder than Tom Brady, but he's on point in flow from his heart. So I love those outside examples of there's someone who's heart-based, manifesting abundance from a place of wholeness. Doesn't mean you're not working, but you're working for the right reasons. And when we are manifesting abundance from the heart, the universe does attract things you don't even know you can have to help you, want to have to help you. And it just takes you on this trajectory to do your authentic heart-based purpose work. Because when you are in flow, because we're interconnected, consciousness is rising. We're all helping to get in flow.
Yes, it was I love that analogy. It's that the tide, when it raises all the ships, right? And we are all connected. We're all from the same source. And I know we're not going to go down that rabbit hole today, but there's a lot to be said for that. And a lot of people don't recognize that. And I will just take a couple steps in that direction, in that for me, abundance, I feel the most abundant when I am outside in nature, when I am by the water, when I am among the trees, especially watching nature, the birds. I saw a picture of a dragonfly yesterday up close. Someone shared on social. I was on the verge of tears because I just looked at that. And when you zoom in, you can see the pattern in the wings. the magnificent colors. There was this blue that I don't even know if I've ever seen a blue that profound before. And underneath it, it was this pattern of blue and then this black. And I'm just like looking at this dragonfly, having this surreal moment of gratitude and how abundant and just magnificent the world is. It really is. And when you stop and look at that, people don't pause and look at anything like that. They keep going and doing, they're not being, like you said.
So I love that you brought in the dragonfly into this space. And I have a beautiful girlfriend who's going to be at my upcoming summit, and she's got the dragonfly effect. And it's all about breath work and being, right? So I'm a course right now called The Science of Happiness, because where I was bombarded with, well, between what's the ROI and what's the data? I'm like, what? Like, it just is, and so now I'm giggling because now science is actually coming to me, interconnectivity and what is abundance, right? So I'm taking this class online, Yale, and it's what is satiation? What are you seeking? Why are you seeking it? And simultaneously, Marianne Williamson shared a thing to bring in the new year that a good me. And it talked about the Industrial Revolution and how we shifted to this piecework stuff, right? It's an economy based on consumerism, materialism, as we know. And it shows we are less happy than we were with less conveniences, less opportunities, less stuff than we are now because we are so disconnected. I love hearing from you, nature. It's interesting because I was like, what is it for me? I love nature, sure. My husband and I are really trying at least once a week now. Do you know we have beaches in Florida? Like, we actually try to go to the beach once a week. Just put our feet in the sand. I hadn't been to the beach in, I don't know, a decade probably. I don't know though, probably nature is one of my paths, but for me, and I'm bringing this into this space intentionally, this great pause that we're going through of all this questioning, of all this disconnect, of all this fear is definitely the opportunity to weigh what is important to me. When I now connect with friends, I am so present. I am so happy to see you. And I also don't connect with people if I know I'm not going to be happy, or, we're going to talk about, I don't know, things that just don't inspire me any longer. So for me, the peace and tranquility I found during this great pause was one of downsizing. We have untethered from a lot of stuff. We continue to untether from, we still have a big old storage unit that we're untethering from. I bring that into this space because as you walk your path each day, is that stuff enjoyable? Is that bringing you joy? Or is it sucking the life out of you? My previous homestead, which was glorious, and I cherished the 2 decades of holding ceremony space, gatherings, family, holidays. It was a great chapter for me. But now our kids are gone and they're going to have kids. And David and I are untethered to free up to get into experiences and supporting them in a different way. So for me, less is more. So I'm going to have that one thing that I love versus 40 of them, which I don't appreciate. And the Science of Happiness talks about that. And it talks about how we think this is going to make me happy. I'm going to manifest. They don't use the word manifest, but, I'm going to achieve this. And it helps us understand that things, they call it hedonistic something, where the thing we lose our joy in it because it sticks around. And we're like, it just, that release, that dopamine excitement fades over time. Yeah. So the things, the excitement or the joy or the love fade over time because they're impermanent anyway. The experiences are what will actually make us happy. That's what will bring us satiation and abundance and joy. When I heard that in my class, I was like, yes, because I'd rather spend my wealth on an experience, probably a shared experience, not even a solo experience. And the stuff, while, yeah, great car, thank you, love it. And then now it sits in my driveway dirty with a ding in it. My husband's like, are you going to clean this thing? I'm like, maybe, I'm kind of busy. So I bring in the thought process of stuff versus experience as my way of connecting with love and joy.
Yeah, love that. And I completely concur with that. That is very in line with me as well. I would much rather have a gift of an experience than an actual physical item.
What do we need?
We need everything we need. Nothing. And what you said about like that dopamine hit, what popped into my mind when you said that is we already have an internal pharmacy that provides that, right? It doesn't have to be all that external. And just pulling your hand to your heart releases that. Endorphins are released. That is a simple way to have a joy in any moment, is to pull your hand to your heart. And then you've already released that chemical in your body. How powerful is that? How powerful are each one of us? We don't even know. We don't even know our power. So in any moment to shift, that's all you can, you just have to put your hand on your heart and you can shift just like that. And realize, and that's a guiding force. It's your heart is pulling you in, within, right? And that's what you did. You did that work of sitting and going within to find peace and let go, and to realize it's safe to let go and let God, surrender, whatever that means to you guys. Christin, this is so amazing, this conversation. We didn't know where it was going. I know there's people out there that are listening to this, and it can be one person that you're sharing your story. You'll never see the ripple that you're creating today. You will never know that ripple. That's so magnificent and beautiful that we all have that potential. This is just glorious. Is there anything else that's coming up for you on your journey that you feel needs to be shared in this moment?
Oh, Debbie, there's so many things I want to share, but I want to be respectful of your time. And again, so appreciative of this opportunity. I will bring into this space what you just said, which is the finding it within. And that's the abundance piece. That's the manifestation from heart. A great book that I was gifted what is called Into the Magic Shop by Dr. Doty, and he's a neuroscientist out at Stanford. And I was like, oh, here's a doctor guy, this will be a great read for me because I'm not in alignment with a lot of clinicians because they just approach well-being in a different way than I've experienced. I highly recommend that book. It's a great example of what we've talked about, where abundance, lots of wealth, lots of stuff, and his lessons that he I'm not going to, ruin the book for you, but where did he manifest all that from? Where did all that come from? And it was just an aha. It's an outside of self experience that I'm like, yeah, what Doty said. So check that book out. The other thing, to get back to the find it within, just like Interconnected Wellbeing Advocate bubbled up as my title. And I laughed and was like, I don't even know what that means, but I know that's my title. Around the same time, the tag of my company, Find It Within Yourself. I didn't know what that meant, but I just knew that was it. And as I step into that understanding, it's a summation of what you just said. And what the work that you and I are completely in alignment doing is, you're never going to find it outside, ever, whether it's money, whether it's relationship, whether it's health. And I have had to get comfortable when I'm in a room, as I was for years in healthcare, where I'm sitting around, a boardroom table and I'm listening to the conversation and I'm like, this is not what I think. It's not how I feel, but I'm not going to raise my hand and be like, hey, everyone, what are you talking about? I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the acronyms after my name. It wasn't the space for me to speak up. So what I'd like to conclude on my side with is this inner knowing. You said it. We have the medicine inside. We have the answers inside. A, get in touch with your inner knowing by being still. B, trust your inner knowing. my answers were, I did not see my answer anywhere around me. I wasn't like, yeah, well, that's what she's doing. So oh my gosh, I was naked, alone, sad, scared, total misfit outsider from this cocoon that I was in of abundance when it came to relation. So I've learned to be comfortable with my inner knowing. And then the next step, once you get in touch with that and you're like, yeah, that's not what I think. I feel this way and no one else does. I'm going to save y'all years of embarrassment. You don't have to rent out a hall or a billboard or get on a podcast and vomit your truth to try to convince others to see what you see. Because I tried that for years and I got very frustrated. Like, everyone listen, I see it. It's my way. Okay. My truth is my truth for me. Okay. And somebody else's truth is somebody else's truth for them. And I'm not to be threatened by the fact that I'm the only person in that moment, or there's only 3 of us at this moment seeing it in that capacity. Be comfortable, be the lighthouse. You will attract who you're supposed to, when you're supposed to, because you're supposed to. And you don't have to impede on others or be threatened by others, because there's enough room for all of us. And it's in our differences. That's where the tension lies, that we can know who we are. They're gifting us the opportunity. It's not our job or our right to control other and make others see what we see. When's the last time someone tried to convince you of something you don't believe in? How did that work out? Were you all of a sudden converted? No, you were like more dug in, more like, heck no. So I want to leave you with that, where it's the internet you already have. It's already within you. It's free. It's free. Find it within yourself, be it, and then you will attract it in a way that you don't even know. It'll be an amazing ride.
There's nothing else to say after that. That's beautiful, Christin. Oh my God, so amazing. All right, so Christin's book is Her Phoenix Rising. Christin is writing a new book, from what I understand. Yeah. And where can we find you, follow you? How can we get more Christin in our life?
If you can handle it, right? Thank you, Debbie. You hold beautiful space. And I look forward to listening back to hear, what transpired in this conversation, because I know that I've spent most of it freezing. I'm like wanting to grab coffee because this is just very inspiring for me. Plug in just on my website, ChristinCollins.com. From there, there's so many resources. My role of inspiring in awakening is to shed light on others' amazing work. And that's what I try to do each and every week through a weekly email that's a little bit sassy, but it showcases things like this gathering that Debbie hosted. I was able to put that out to community. It has videos on there to help you on your journey. There's podcasts on there. There's all kinds of content and opportunities to educate yourself on how to find it within. So just hop on the website, and that would be the number one way to connect. And I'm so grateful to connect with you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So before I let you go, I have one last question for you, a little fun question. So you can kind of fill in the blank. So if you knew me really, really well, then you would know that
So what bubbled up, and I wanted something like sassy, because I know it's a fun question, but this is what bubbled up. So I'm going with it. If you knew me really, really well, you know that I am love.
Beautiful way to end this conversation. And yes, you are.
As are you. As are we all.
As are we all. That's the golden thread that connects us all. It's love. Christin, it's been an honor. Thank you for this moment. Thank you for this conversation. Just love you. Grateful.
Love you.
You have just listened to another episode of Finding the Spark Within with Christin Collins. If you found our content valuable, visit us at ChristinCollins.com/podcast, where you can find more episodes and amazing content. Connect with your purpose and discover ultimate joy. Join us again next time here on Finding the Spark Within.